So there's been this age-old argument that has existed not just in Cowboy circles, but across the NFL of whether or not your team should play starters or not. And for me, I look at it from both sides and kind of just go from there. And also considering the fact that the layout of the preseason has changed in recent years, of course people's perspectives will change. Because with the recent injury to TJ Watt, where he suffered a knee injury, the severity, as of this recording, we don't know. So I'm not going to say that it's good or bad with the results. But it does serve a question of why am I playing starters in preseason? Or, hey, if someone doesn't do good in week one, why didn't they give preseason reps? So, for me, when it comes to the argument of whether you should or shouldn't play starters, first, how has the preseason changed? That's the first thing. So before, if you had the Hall of Fame game, you had 5 preseason games, 4 if you did not. Now it's 4 if you have a preseason game in the Hall of Fame game, and 3 if you don't. So the biggest thing is, and a lot of people forget this, the 4th preseason game, literally no starters played. It was just a bunch of guys that were not making the team. And the reason I bring that up is because there are those that forget that. And so I'm not concerned about having 4 preseason games because that 3rd preseason game was really the biggest, like, hey, this is the dress rehearsal game. And people forget that because there is this idea that, like, hey, this is how the preseason was back then, but they don't actually remember. So getting all that taken care of in terms of laying the land there. So with that being said, I will say, I don't have a problem with the Cowboys playing their starters for like a drive, right? Because I feel as if, yeah, you want to give them some reps, especially depending on the situation. That is what's key here. Like, for me, I felt like the entire starting offensive line should have at least gotten like one drive together so that we could see what we got going there. But, I mean, now you're like, eh. But again, you're still evaluating some of the young talent because you had Tyler Smith out there. This is the problem I had with all this. The fact is that Tyler Smith got hurt during a preseason game, and it's because he was playing well into the second quarter. I don't like that. I don't. Because now you're opening up your guys to injury with extended playing time. And I always felt in the back of my mind, there's this placebo effect that takes place with fans with the preseason, because if you have a guy that plays well in preseason, then whatever happens in the regular season, it's a-okay. He had preseason reps, especially if he did good. But if he doesn't play well, what is it? Is it because he played in preseason, he got overinflated stats and stuff like that? You see what I mean? So I don't really care what happens in the preseason, unless circumstances dictate a particular situation. But I'm not asking for a long period of time to see these things. I don't want things like what happened with TJ Watt happened in a preseason game, especially the last one at that. I don't want situations like going back years ago when Tony Romo got hurt in the preseason game because you felt like you needed to play him. Like, there was no reason to play him. And the biggest thing is knowing the situation surrounding these individuals. Like, with Romo, you knew the guy was going to be hurt, but you elected to play him anyway. And I'm just, flabbergasted at that. So you might have a differing opinion than mine, but that's okay. We're all here to have differing opinions and things like that. So if we look at certain teams that go into week one without playing their starters, right? I have seen guys where they haven't played a lick of football in the preseason and they come out and they look just fine. And vice versa. I've seen them not look good at all. But for me, and this is the thing that I think a lot of people don't get wrapped in their heads a bit, is that I want you to think about this. It is, in my honest opinion, when it comes to getting players ready, that is the job of your head coach, the job of your coordinators, the job of your special, coaches that have their particular position groups. It's their job to get you ready for the regular season. And then you just have to do your part to make sure you're ready. Not everyone's going to be perfect, that I want to stress, but that falls on the coaching staff. Hey, we're not going to play you, but let's get you ready. And if they aren't ready and your game plan doesn't do good enough, that is on you. That happens every single week. Every single week, you game plan for a particular opponent. You go through reps on how you tackle that opponent, and you just go from there. It's not necessarily a preseason thing. It's more so a week-by-week thing. And so I'm not going to sit here and be like, okay, we need to have all our guys play for at least the game, which I'm not insinuating anybody is saying that. But, like, let's imagine Micah Parsons was out there for 2 quarters and he gets hurt, and we're like, well, shit. What the hell? And you might be saying, well, Space, they played him last year. That's a key difference there. The thing is that when you have young guys, especially rookies, yeah, they're going to need reps, of course. That's a given. We're talking about established veterans, those that you know are going to be really good. So with Dak, I don't think he needs reps, but in this particular situation with a massive amount of changes to your wide receiving core, yeah, I would like to see him with the wide receivers. Your offensive line, yeah, I want to see all my starters out there, which I think you saw all of them except for Zach Martin. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Zach Martin didn't play in the preseason. I might be a dumbass and I might have forgot, but hey, if I did, I did. But again, that doesn't deviate from the point I'm trying to make here. The thing is that we as fans need to understand that whatever happens in the preseason, unless we're talking about rookies, like, look, when Tyler Smith was doing very well in the preseason, I personally think that, look, I didn't need to see any more. I see what I got from that guy at left guard. You look at guys like Josh Ball, I have seen enough in 2 games. I don't see improvement. Or guys like Marquise Bell. Like, Marquise Bell is a good example because it's like you have an undrafted free agent. You don't know what you got. And it's something that kind of irks me because it's a situation by situation basis for players. And so we're talking about starters. I'm not trying to deviate the conversation, but when it comes to these unproven guys, that's what the preseason is for. If your starters are established guys and they're not, like, if your starter has a question mark, like a Steele, or if you want to say McGovern, sure. But if those are questions you have, yeah, play them. You want to know what the hell you got there. But if you, for example, right, like, let's look at the Eagles hypothetically. Like, Jalen Hurts should get some preseason reps because you're trying to figure, okay, what the hell do you got there? Like A.J. Brown, maybe you don't need reps as much, or some of your starters on your offensive line, your defensive line, you might want to see Jordan Davis out there a bit, or Nakobe Dean. You see what I mean? Like, some starters, if they're young and you don't still know how things are going to go, sure, absolutely. But I'm not going to sit here and say no or yes. I'm kind of more so like it depends, and you just go from there. So I don't mean to give you the wish-washy answer, but that's just my opinion, and I'm trying to explain it the best way I can. So what do you guys have to say about that? By all means, leave that down in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell as well, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Alright, guys? Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.